As many of you know who know me, it's Andrea Foulkes, and I do past life regression, inner child healing, ancestral timeline healing, spirit releasement between lives, and help you process your blockages, your fears, your phobias, and evolve your consciousness. And this evening, we're just going to do a little chat about why we avoid our deeper healing. And inspired by a client today, she's saying to me, why am I avoiding this deeper healing? Because it is deep, and because it will change us. And once we heal ourselves on the deepest level, we will liberate our soul and we'll heal, our physical bodies will heal. So many women, each part of our body relates to an emotional issue. And hello, Suze, I think it's Suze, says, thank you for joining. I'm going to just talk about what I'm going to talk about. So I won't say hi to everyone. I'll just say a general hi and carry on talking about why we sabotage our deeper healing. Because it is liberating, and because when we go into the depths of our story, we'll be free. But the ego wants to sabotage ourselves, so we often skim the surface. We find new kinds of modalities of therapies to do that kind of slough a bit of the surface off, and then we find a twinky twonky machine that might help us. I'm very skeptical. I'm sorry about the med beds. People are waiting to be liberated by these med beds, but you cannot heal your emotional trauma with a machine. There is no machine on the planet that's ever going to do this. It's you being awareness of self, working probably with a therapist like myself, someone who's going to be really honest with you, help you trigger your shadow aspect. Sometimes it's really good in a group that we can do the triggering of our shadow aspect. There's a great saying, pain pushes you till your vision pulls you. And I think there's never a truer statement than that. When we don't want to process our stuff, we will sabotage, we will manifest accidents, we will hurt our bodies, we will blame, then we'll go onto the spectrum of maybe going on the narcissistic spectrum ourselves, where we're looking to blame other people. It's, humanity have this deep fear of taking responsibility for ourselves. And also sometimes, as I saw today with someone, a deep fear of our own shame. If I put it in a cupboard and I shut the cupboard away, I don't have to face it. But, we do for our healing. When we face, okay, here's the shame. It's in my body. Where's it stored in my body? Often when I work with clients, I'm asking you, where's the emotion stored? Whether it's guilt, whether it's shame, whether it's fear, whatever the emotion is. And it can be deep, and it can be a myriad of emotions. It's not just one. We can always liberate ourselves, whether it's from time in the womb. We absorb the emotions of the mother in the womb, and then we think they're our emotions and they're not, and then we say in a child from being alive outside the womb to present day, we are being triggered by things constantly, and we're being triggered by those things in relation to our ancestral story. And our past life story. So our ancestral story is our DNA story, our genetic story. And our soul story is linked to our past lives, and the patterns we've been running for lifetimes after lifetimes. And now we're at this point on the planet now where there's nowhere to go, except inward. This is the deepest, longest journey that people fear. And I did say to a client today, and I said a very provocative statement, because we need to be provocative to help you heal. I need to be provocative. I need to say that sitting with that story and that pain is like dancing on razor blades. It's a lot harder to hold on to it than it is to let go of it. And we're fearful that who will I be without this story? What will happen in my life? When we let go of our stories, we get lighter. Our bodies always heal in relation to us letting go of our stories. I know it myself, I've told this story before. Well, I used to manifest polycystic ovaries all the time. They'd grow and pop, and you'd see the collapsed cell tissue. And one time This was in my 20s, and I was in such agony because it would push on the sciatic nerve in my body that my parents came down to London because I had to go to the hospital to be scanned, as I was every 3 months in those days because the polycystic ovaries were so bad. And my dad brought a book called The Hidden Power of Vibration by Harvey Day, and it had been in their bookcase my whole life, and I'd never read it. And I flopped this book open, and one paragraph I read, and it was about a lady who was riddled with cancer, and they said, go home, there's nothing we can do for you in this book. And she turned to her husband and she said, I truly forgive you of your affairs. And with that, the cancer flew out of her body and she was healed. You know, it was all the bitterness, all the resentment she was holding was making her ill. That wasn't my story, but I knew in that moment I needed to forgive everyone and everything. And I accessed what is possible that you can do on your own. You don't even need a therapist for this. You can access what I call divine forgiveness, where you truly get it. You have that light bulb moment and you're like, right, I'm going to forgive everyone and everything. And with that, this energy just flew through my body. Now, bearing in mind, I used to go to hospital and be scanned every 3 weeks for these polycystic ovaries. And there'd always be, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, collapsed cell tissue. So that afternoon, from being in agony in the morning, in the afternoon, I went to the hospital and they scanned me with an ultrasound and they said, there's nothing there. Why are you here? I said, because I have recurring polycystic ovaries and, they were in agony. And she said, well, there's nothing here. And I said, well, there must be collapsed cell tissue. And she said, there's nothing, they're gone. That's it. And I was like, my God, the divine forgiveness worked. And I was probably 29 at that time. So it was the beginning of my spiritual journey, was the beginning of me healing myself. It was the beginning of me starting to be able to work with people, to develop my intuition, to develop my skills and gifts, to read the emotional Akashic records. But the fact that I healed myself and the fact that I accessed divine forgiveness showed me that when we let go of these negative emotions, even if they're towards ourselves or towards other people, our bodies will always heal. Sometimes we need the stories, and that's, we need to hear. Even you hearing my story might allow you to access divine forgiveness within yourself and go, I have to forgive everyone and everything, including yourself, including forgiving ourselves. And that's often the hardest person to forgive yourself, And after that, I started to be able to see people's emotional Akashic records, past lives, this life, ancestral. And as you know, I worked on TV doing past life regression. And if some of you go back to the beginning of my channel, you can see when I did regression on UK TV on a show called This Morning, and then I did 2 series of a show called Have I Been Here Before? And that was for me to show the healing aspect, although from a TV point of view, they wanted to show whether reincarnation existed. And, if you see my video from yesterday or the day before, I do believe we can get off the reincarnation grid. I don't believe we need to keep dying and reincarnating. We'll go into that deeper on another day. But I'm also aware that even in my own healing journey for myself, without me even talking about the healing journey I've done with a lot of you, we need to see the story. I need to see the inner child. I need to see the past life. I need to see the ancestor. Sometimes we don't access divine forgiveness. We have to see the story to give ourselves permission to let it go, for the aha moment, putting the story together to give ourselves permission to heal. And that, I think, is why we sabotage sometimes, because we're not ready to give ourselves permission to heal. And when you do, you are going to liberate your stories, whether they're martyrdom of self or, whatever your stories. Sometimes the stories affect your physical body. Sometimes they affect your fears and phobias. Sometimes it's around stories of not feeling worthy in relationships or struggling to let a relationship go, or stories around money and abundance and am I worthy? So many deep stories. But when we start doing this inner work, we are going to liberate ourselves. And as I always say, it's like layers. It's like soaking the baking tin. Everybody wants to access divine forgiveness and let everything go in one fell swoop, and it's within potential, but that's not really how the human works. It's layers normally. So it's like soaking the baking tin, letting go of a layer, letting go of another layer, letting go of another layer. And with the letting go of a layer, an awareness of consciousness expands within yourself, and you become more aware of being an authority to yourself. You know, you don't give your power away so much to other people. You are your own authority, your own divinity, but yet we still have grace, compassion, and forgiveness for other beings. And we're able to enter that space a lot easier as well. So I hope my little sharing today from Richmond in London, near the river. I'm going out now, so thank you for watching. Thank you for liking my necklace. Thank you. It's a very old necklace made in Cornwall many years ago, probably 20 years ago. And I just got it out of a box. Isn't it funny how things go through cycles, even matching earrings? Things go through cycles, and they have to be brought back out again. So I think when people talk about decluttering and things like that, sometimes I find I've not worn this for probably 5 or 6 years, and all of a sudden it's in again. So it's like, be kind with yourself, you know, about your healing journey, your healing story. The best place to start, if you're new to me or my work, is I've got free meditations on my website, andreafoulkes.com. Download the free Earth Peace meditation, and there's a tiny little daily, I think it's a 9-10 minute meditation. Download that meditation. If you love that, there's a longer meditation that you could invest in. So start with that. Start gently, you know, start doing this awareness of self, you know, start being honest with yourself, because how can you be honest with other people if you can't be honest with yourself? And it's okay saying, you know, I don't like myself, I sabotage myself, you know, I fear that I'm not good enough at something, you know. All these things, the minute you speak them and you're honest with yourself, you can start letting them go. So have a look at my other videos. Thanks for joining me this evening. I send you all so much love. I believe you can all heal. I believe we all have the ability to heal, to evolve, to transform, to become a master of our own reality. And, you know, some of the stories I shared, the one I've just shared this evening, you can listen back. I'm going to upload this to inspire you about divine forgiveness and getting really real and honest with ourselves. And just a little update, I do have a workshop coming up in the summer. It's a long way off yet. It's the 22nd of June. It's at the Chalice Well in Glastonbury, which is a beautiful healing garden in Glastonbury, where I live most of the time. So it's a beautiful day workshop where we work on evolving our souls, healing, love, kindness, joy, giggling, laughing, you know, releasing. And then we usually climb the tour, and I do a sound healing light language at the end. And it is the day after the solstice. So it's a powerful day. It's a powerful day now in the eclipse energies, I think. So it's a great day to really love yourself. And sometimes you have to admit that we don't love ourselves very much to start our healing journey. And our healing journey is the beginning of loving ourselves. And when we love ourselves, it's going to be so much easier to find grace, love, and compassion for other people. But it's okay to be angry sometimes, you know, that's part of our journey. And with that, thank you all so much for your little symbols, messages. I send you much love. It's Andrea Foulkes, and it's andreafoulkes.com. Much love, many blessings. Have a beautiful evening, day, wherever you are in the world. Much love. Bye from Richmond. Bye. And now I don't know how to end it, but we'll end. Hold on.